Okay, these have finally arrived. We're going to do a quick unboxing on the AMX custom seat covers for the Recaro Sportster CS. Can't be more excited to see these. This is a huge part of the build, not just the seats, but then doing these in a custom look to go with the rest of the interior. So let's go ahead and get it open, see what we're working with. I can honestly already smell the new leather from here. Oh mama. Okay, let's see what they look like. They did send like QC pictures essentially of these completed, which I really appreciate. That way I could get a look at them before they packed them up and shipped them. Oh wow. Okay, there we go. That is a beautiful thing. So this leather is super soft. It's got a matte finish, which is one of the nice parts about these AMX covers in my opinion. That gives you a general idea without putting this on what we're talking about, but this is stunning. I mean, the video probably doesn't quite do it justice, but hopefully you guys can pick up on the quality of leather that we're talking about here. The quality of stitching, you know, they did everything in a cinnamon stitch, which is, you know, what I wanted. I want something that just blends away. I didn't want to do a bunch of accent stitching, things like that. We've got a lot going on with the Alcantara tricolor stitch in all the trims, and so I didn't want to do like a tricolor stitch by any means, but I didn't even want to do a, you know, a black or dark gray to match the Alcantara. I didn't want to do a white to make it poppy. I wanted it to be super clean. And then we've got the M logo, as you can see there, and that is embossed, stamped essentially into the headrest. So very subtle. That's the only thing that's going to be on the seats, but man, these are absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so we're in the garage. I'm going to walk you through how to install these AMX covers on the Recaro Sportster CS seats. Not a lot of videos on this. AMX has a video. It's fairly short. It definitely gets the job done. To be honest, it's the video I used to do the first seat, which I'm going to show you behind me, but I thought I'd do a little more in-depth kind of narrated version just for those of you who are thinking about switching out your seat covers. This works for any Sportster CS seat, so it doesn't have to be a BMW M3 or an E46. You know, these seats are pretty universal. People put them in all kinds of cars. So if you're ordering any kind of custom cover from AMX, or anybody frankly probably like them, is probably going to use a similar technique. This is how you get them on. So I'm going to start with the disassembly. I'm going to walk you through putting the covers on, kind of the order of operations, and yeah, hopefully you find this helpful. So I just wrapped up this seat. I wanted to go ahead and do this one first just to get a feel for the technique and process. These go on super nice. This is the end product here. As you can see, it looks basically custom upholstered, which is the beauty of these CS seats, in my opinion, is that they have the ability to, you know, really look very bespoke and like this was purpose built, even though of course this was done by an aftermarket company. So pretty universal, allows you to swap things out pretty easily. So I'm gonna go and jump into step by step, walking you through how we get to this finished product. Okay, first I'm gonna walk you through the tools you're gonna need for this job, get everything laid out, but starting from right to left, we've got a drill, 1/4 inch, and 3/8 ratchet, flathead screwdriver, trim pullers, plastic trim pullers, 5 hex, and then a T15. So that's all you need. Pretty straightforward. Obviously, step one is going to be to disassemble the existing Recaro Sportster CS. So this one happened to come in a vinyl and Alcantara mix. So I'm going to take these covers off. The seat needs to be pulled apart into 2 pieces. I have seen in a lot of videos people taking off all of this rear shell back here. You know, all kinds of craziness, disassembling the frame, the bottom frame piece that is underneath here from the back of this by taking a bunch of bolts apart down here. Unless you are planning to do a swap over with like seat heaters or I don't know, other things, you really don't need to do that. So for the one I just showed you guys, all I did was take this bottom piece out. That allows you to change the cover on the bottom half and it gives you enough access to change the cover on the back half without having to mess with disassembling the whole seat, because ultimately these rails, this frame is going to bolt to the BK rails that I ordered and the factory sliders and all kinds of stuff. So we really need that stuff on there anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and leave all that alone. So step one is basically just taking off the bottom section here. As you guys can see, I have a moving blanket down. You definitely want to protect this. It's got a lot of plastic trim pieces and things like that that can get easily scratched as you're working through this process. So we're gonna go ahead and use the hex bit that I showed you, the number 5, just to take out these 4 connections. Super simple. So I'm gonna start this by hand with my ratchet, okay, the 3/8, just to make sure we don't strip these screws or mess anything up. These have to go back into the base of this. If you end up stripping one of these or screwing them up, you've got, honestly, kind of a big problem on your hands. So we're gonna start it with this, then we'll use the drill to take it out the rest of the way. And as you can see, that comes free pretty easily once you get those 4 off. Okay, so now we've got the bottom piece separated from this larger back piece. Step 2 is going to be to remove the existing cover on the bottom piece. So we'll go ahead and get to that. Okay, so removal on this is pretty straightforward. We're going to flip this over. Basically, there's just a channel that runs all the way around where there's a rubber gasket that is kind of wedged down in here. So you're just going to slowly and carefully just pull this up all the way around. There are some places where it's clipped. There's some places where it's Velcroed. I'll kind of walk you through those when we get to that. But yeah, just take your time. You don't want to rip these, obviously, if you plan to keep them, resell them, you know, whatever it is. So yeah, just slow and steady. Underneath here is a foam layer. Okay, we're gonna keep that, obviously, and that is what the new cover is gonna go over. So you wanna just be really careful that you don't rip the foam. You need it to maintain its shape and integrity. There is a clip below, okay? So it's just a metal clip. It looks like this, okay? But it's just a metal clip, little like almost alligator clip, okay? And they're all over. And that is all there is to it. So go ahead and remove this cover. And we're gonna now wanna look, see where this is attached on the inside. So on the inside of this, these covers are attached one of 2 ways. There are some areas that are Velcroed, and there's some areas that are clipped with a rubber channel clips down into a little red clip. If it's a red clip, which it is right here, you're gonna wanna take a screwdriver, open the mouth of that clip slightly, and pull up on the channel. So you have to give it a little bit of a tug, but just push down on the foam, pull this up, you'll see the channel here, and then keep working your way back. Quick look at one of these without the cover. So you can see the red clips here, and then you've got these channels with this embedded Velcro. Okay, and then of course, this channel on the back is what the rubber gasket around the outside of the cover, which I will show you here, fits into. Okay, so next up, to remove these pieces, you just need to remove some small little screws. So on one side where you've got the release for the seat to fold back, you see these screws here. And on the other side, you're just gonna take your plastic trim puller, pop this off. It's pretty straightforward. You have to just give it a little bit of force. There's 2 screws behind there. So we're gonna go ahead and take both of those off, and then we're gonna take off the cover from this large seat back, just the way we did for this one. So there you have it. That is essentially the halfway point. So we've got covers off of both of these. We've got these laid out. Carefully stored all of our various parts and pieces for the trim, the cover, the screws, so we don't lose those. And we're gonna move on to putting the covers on. So I'll show you how to lay those out. And we're gonna start with this one right here. Okay, so next step is to put on the seat cover. Like I said, we're starting with the bottom. Basically, you wanna lay the cover out, kind of get it in the general area. The important thing to focus on is just making sure this is even. You don't want it too far to the right, too far to the left. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do
is go ahead and get the center clips lined up. So we've got a bunch of these here. We're gonna go ahead and start clipping these down just to get the interior structure kind of in place, and then we'll start working the edges from there. So we're all clipped in, and I can see that we're pretty well lined up, and work it. Okay, so now we've got these corners all set up. Gonna go ahead and start tucking all this under. Now once you get this started, you can then start coming in with this tool. This is gonna really help you to get this tucked under all the way around. So just nice and slow, but the look you're going for is really that rolled edge, right? So all of this is tucked all the way under to the point where there's a nice rolled edge. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of this on. Go and do the rest of this off camera, and then we'll go on to the other one. One more quick tip. I did also put some painter's tape along the area where you're going to be using that trim puller. That way, when you're putting the trim puller in, you're not scratching up the plastic shell. Quick look at the final product. So as you guys can see, you know, these covers are really, really great. Super nice fit. All the way around, nice and tight. So yeah, it just takes a little bit of work. A little bit of elbow grease, but hats off to AMX for making a really impressive product. All right, so next up is the main back of the seat. This is the cover. You're basically going to repeat the process just like you did, and you've got main attachment points. So the first thing you want to do is clip in this point here. You're going to clip these side channels in. That's going to get the main part of the seat centered. Then you're going to slowly work this back, put the Velcro down in this channel, put the 3 little Velcro pieces in here, and then Velcro here, pull this over, and basically that gets the whole cover, you know, centered and seated. And then again, it's the same process. You're just going to go on the outside. I'm going to use a painter's tape. I'm going to use a trim tool to wedge it and push it, and we're just going to work it, get it installed. So I'm going to do that off camera. It's exactly the same as the other technique. We'll get this done. I'll show you how to put the seat back on, and then this project's complete. All right, so here's the completed product, top and bottom. I'm going to show you real quick how to attach the bottom back to the top, basically just doing what we did in reverse, and then we'll wrap the video up. So there we have it, 2 completed seats. Again, huge shout out to AMX for making a spectacular product. I couldn't be more excited about these seats. I also have been sitting in these, and the fit is just perfect. It cradles me well. It's got great support. It's not too tight. It's got great back support. This section here actually has a lot of padding in it. For reference, I'm 5'9", 150, and these seats fit really well. I'd say there's a little room. So if you were, say, just slightly taller or slightly heavier, you'd also probably be in good shape. But as you can see, next to the cinnamon interior bits that we've got staged for the interior swap, this is like a dead-on match. So if you guys are considering AMX, highly recommend. Hopefully you found this part of the series and walking through the install and this helpful. Like I said, I didn't find a lot of really detailed videos. Love these, couldn't be happier, and anxious to get all this interior you see here in the garage that's all staged into this guy right here. So I think that white and cinnamon is just going to be an awesome. This is the BK mount set combined with the stock sliders. I won't do a whole how-to video on this. It's going to give me power sliding front and back functionality by using the stock power sliders that came with the car. I just think it's going to be a really nice touch just to, again, kind of keep that OEM plus. You know, yes, these are aftermarket Recaros, but having them on stock sliders with stock functionality to slide them back and forth when you've got a guest in the car or your buddy's driving, you know, your build and needs to move the seat back or whatever. I think it's a super nice touch. It's just that extra mile on the build that I really like to do. So I'm going to get these wrapped up and get them into the car.